Imagine waking up tomorrow to discover everything you thought you knew about life, about death, about your purpose was incomplete. Imagine realizing that the struggles, the pain, the longing in your heart were not random, but part of a much bigger story. Today's message isn't just about lesson, it's about the single most important truth you will ever hear. The gospel, yes, the good news, that has the power to transform your life, your family, and even your eternity. Let's be honest, life is hard. Every day we see brokenness around us, sickness that steals joy, death that rips loved ones away, wars that shatter peace, hearts weighed down by guilt, and minds clouded by fear. Have you ever wondered if God is so good? Why do we suffer so much? These questions has haunted humanity for centuries. And to understand the answer, we must go back to the very beginning, the story of how it all started. In the beginning, God created the perfect world, a world without sickness, pain, or death. Humanity was never meant to die. Adam, the first man, was given everything: life, abundance, communion with God. But there was one instruction: do not eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. It wasn't about fruits, it was about trust. Would Adam trust God? Would Adam trust God's wisdom? Or would he choose his own way? Adam chose disobedience, and in that moment, sin entered the world. The Bible says in Romans chapter 5 verse 12, therefore, just as sin entered the world through one man, and death through sin, so also death was passed on to all men because all sinned. We didn't choose to be born into a broken world, but we all inherited that brokenness. Death was never meant to be our story, but because of Adam's choice, it became humanity's reality. Often, the pain and consequences of their choices spill over into the lives of their children. In a similar way, Adam's sin opened the door for all of us to experience the separation from God that leads to death. But this isn't where the story ends. God's love refused to leave us in that state. One man entered history to rewrite it. His name is Jesus, the second Adam, born of a virgin, untouched by the inherited sin of the first Adam. His coming was no accident. It was a divine rescue mission. The Bible says in 1 Corinthians chapter 15 verse 45, the first Adam became a living being, the last Adam a life-giving spirit. Where the first Adam brought death, second Adam brought life. Where the first Adam disobedience brought condemnation, the second Adam obedience brought grace. Imagine someone condemned for a crime they didn't commit, standing in your place to take your punishment so you could go for free. That's what Jesus did. On the cross, he bore the weight of our sin. His resurrection broke the chains of death. He is the powerful truth. You cannot end this salvation. You cannot buy your way into God's kingdom or achieve it by good deeds. Romans chapter 5 verse 17 says, for it by the trespass of the man, death reigned through that one man. How much more will those who receive God's abundant provision of grace and the gift of righteousness reign in life through the one man, Jesus Christ? This is not about religion, it's about relationship. It's not about striving, it's about receiving. I have seen people carry the weight of guilt for years, thinking they had to somehow pay for their past. But the gospel shatters that lie. God doesn't ask you to qualify for his love, he invites you to accept it. Salvation becomes real the moment you believe in your heart and confess with your mouth that Jesus is Lord. Romans chapter 10 verse 9 says, if you confess with your mouth Jesus is Lord and believe in your heart that God raised him from the dead, you will be saved. This is supernatural adoption. God bringing you into his family. Your past no longer defines you. Death no longer holds you. Your story becomes one of redemption. The gospel isn't just a ticket to heaven. It is power for your everyday life, strength to forgive, courage to face trials, peace in the midst of chaos, and hope that never dies. Look at history. The early disciples were ordinary people, fishermen, tax collectors, outcasts, but once they encountered the risen Jesus, they turned the world upside down. The same power is available to you today. So here's the question I want to leave you with. If you knew that by opening your heart to Jesus, your entire eternity could change, what would hold you back? Would you let fear, doubt, or pride keep you from stepping into the greatest story ever told? What part of this message touched you the most? The story of Adam's fall, the sacrifice of Jesus, or the gift of God's grace? Share your thoughts in the comment. Your story might inspire someone else to take the step of faith. Remember, the gospel is not just the good news. It is the greatest news. It is God reaching out to you saying, I see you, I love you, and I have made a way for you to come home. If this message spoke to you, make sure to subscribe, share this video with a friend, and join this growing family of believers worldwide. See you in the next devotion.